Us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN TV.
A new direction for leadership begins with you. The future of our communities begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
the New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman,
asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development in FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN TV.
A new direction for leadership begins with you. The future of our communities begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
the New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman,
asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development in FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN TV.
A new direction for leadership begins with you. The future of our communities begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
the New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman,
asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development in FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN TV.
A new direction for leadership begins with you.
Time.
The future of our communities begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
The New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman.
asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development.
Welcome to another edition of Countdown to FCT Area Council Elections 2026. Have you heard this before? All politics are local. All politics are local. That's a very pregnant message. Unfortunately, many Nigerians don't understand that. And we look down on the grassroots election, which is the most local, the most basic of all our elections. Yet, the government that impacts our life directly the most is the local government. For example, the local government is vital to the delivery of good governance to the people. The local government ensures efficient delivery of basic services like water, sanitation, and road. The local government is very key to the promotion of local order and security. The local government is a place for learning the basic tenets of democracy. And the local government is very crucial for economic development. How can we ignore an entity as interesting and as important like this? Sadly, this is what most of us have been doing in many parts of Nigeria. When it comes to federal election, for the president, for the senators, for the House of Rep, we troop out to go and vote. When it comes to governor's election, it goes down a little, but we go to vote. But when it comes to local government election, we are not interested, particularly in a place like Abuja, that many times, you know, the season of local government election at times clashes with federal election, at times stands alone. Like for 2026, is standing alone, and the election is coming up on the 21st of February. I did a little statistics of the data, the voting pattern in local government in FCT. What I found that shocked me. I found that there has never been a local government chairman, area council chairman in AMAC that is produced with up to 30,000 votes. Yeah. That's appalling. In a place that has over 2 million, residents and over 400,000 or 500,000 registered voters. So we need to change our attitude as we go into 2026 area council election for FCT. And like I said again, coming up on the 21st of February 2026. We cannot afford to treat this election the way we have treated previous election. Do you know why? Abuja Municipal Area Council was created in October 1984. It means that Abuja Municipal Area Council will be 42 years old in October 2026. But apart from the central area that is developed, when you get to places, like Gidamangoro, get to Orozo, get to Karishi, you leave that place and you go to Aleta, all the way down, and you go to even Yanya, get to Gwagwalape, you go to all this area, you find out that the most developed area council in Abuja is still significantly rural. Yeah. And to transform this, we will have to elect innovative leaders, dynamic leaders, creative leaders, leaders who are hungry about development, leaders who understand that the purpose of governance is to make things better and to transform, the villages, the communities, and all the rural areas. And that's why today, by the grace of God, in the countdown to area council election 2026, we are bringing you somebody who is going to sit in the office of local government chairman. We are bringing you the YPP candidate for AMAC in this election, Honorable Robert Madaki. Welcome to Countdown to 2026
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
How is the race so far?
Well, the race is heating up, so we're entering the phase, the final phase of the race, which is the last 1 month, to the election. So it's getting hotter, and I believe that in the coming days and weeks, we will see more campaign activities from all the parties.
And so far, what will you say about the level of enthusiasm of the people?
Yeah, so there is a slight, I'm careful to use that word, a slight level of, there is a slight increase in the level of interest in the elections. And I think there are reasons for that, but it's not very encouraging. It's not very encouraging, but there is a slight increase, and maybe as we go further we may touch on some of the issues or why we think there is a slight increase in that. I can go ahead and say it, that maybe because it's just a few months to 2027. Okay. So there may be some interest here and there. Okay. So maybe that's why. So, but beyond that, the interest is not so significant. There's no significant increase in the interest of people. But we hope that in the coming weeks we'll be able to change that perspective. We
agree with you absolutely regarding the level of interest. And that was why we came out with this program, came up with the program Countdown to 2026 Area Council Election. We want to make sure that we reach as many residents of FCT as possible so that we can stimulate their interest. The reason for their party is because a lot of people look down on the area council because of the quality of people that have been leading it before. And they do not understand that the best way to change the narrative is to actually show interest and then vote in quality people who will be able to transform the system and transform governance. Okay. Who is Robert Madaki?
Okay, so Robert Madaki is a multilingual communications specialist. Robert Madaki is an operations management specialist with experience of over 20 years experience working in international development, with special emphasis in community development. Yes, so, and beyond that, I'm happily married with one wife, and I have a son. So I'm a community person. I've been in AMAC for upward of 20 years now. And I work, most of my work has been in, around AMAC. If it's not in AMAC, then it's outside Nigeria, across West Africa. Yes.
Will you say you are in the private sector, public sector, or the development sector?
So more or less development sector. Yes, more or less development sector. I have had a few stints in the private sector, but mostly my work has been around the development sector. Yes.
And from what you have seen in the development sector sphere, how do you think people in FCT will benefit from having someone like you?
So I think that the people, I believe strongly that the AMAC is due, for a change in approach to local government administration. And I don't want to use the word administration because that word has been bastardized within the context of Nigeria. So I want to say that in the management of local government resources and its people, there has to be a change, a shift in approach from it being just an extension and appendage of government, but to become a system that is service-oriented, a system that will add value to the system of local government administration. The reason being that, like you said earlier on, the local government administration is the closest to the grassroots, and so the challenge with AMAC is that there has been an absence of governance on that level. So you have issues like areas that are not even governed at all, not to talk of poorly governed. There are areas that are not even governed in local government, within AMAC, the area council. And even if you look at other area councils around AMAC, around FCT, the 5 other area councils, I think that because they are rural in a sense, so there is a higher sense of duty to local government affairs in those places. Yes, in those places there is a higher sense of duty. But when you come to AMAC, because there is an FCT administration that is there, so everything seems to revolve around that administration.
Like Big Brother Africa.
Yes. So you have a situation like now that we have a minister that is more visible in terms of his approach to governance.
Yes.
And so everybody tends to forget that there is a local government that is responsible for refuse disposal. So when you have crises in places like Gwarimpa and other parts of the city, everybody references the minister. Meanwhile, not statutorily, the responsibility falls with area council. In fact, between 2017 and 2019, there was a court issue between AMAC and AEPB with regards to who is in charge of waste disposal. And the court actually said that AMAC, is responsible and is responsible for revenue generation and collection for waste disposal. So we see a lot of, there is a lot of discrepancy in how these things are run, and even when the court gave that pronouncement, there's nothing that has been seen that is visible by local government to actually take advantage of that law, that opportunity, and then consolidate on its role as the main administrator when it comes to sanitation and other related health issues. Yes.
Okay. Now, we see this. I don't want to call it competition okay. So there's a dichotomy between the federal, the state, and the local government.
Very true.
In Abuja, particularly in AMAC, it seems that there's a fusion, just like you said, of the duties of area council chairman and area council administration and that of the Ministry of Federal Capital Territory. So as the elected chairman of AMAC, how do you play around this and be able to get out of the shadow of the minister and not be seen as competing with the minister?
Okay. So that's a very good question. The challenge is that in most cases, the local government chairman or the administration of AMAC has not really been able to even compete with the FCT ministry for one simple reason. And I can use land administration as an example. Land administration, when you even try to review disputes, with land, so the key players that you get to hear of is the developer, the people that are displaced, and then the FCT ministry. Even when you go to local government to acquire a land, you still have to come to FCT to validate whatever you have acquired. So I don't know whether I can call that a competition, but I think the word overshadow,
I think it's overlap
of responsibilities that are not clearly defined. But there are statutory provisions for AMAC to carry out its responsibility actually without interference. There is always going to be a situation whereby there will be synergy between the two, especially with regards to sanitizing the system, like we made reference to land administration. But beyond that, if you look at other areas of work where you expect to see local government visibility, we don't see them. And you alluded to the various, let me use the word villages that are found around AMAC, very rural settings. Those areas are where AMAC should even have more influence, with regards to development and other areas of work. Now, if you go and do a little bit of statistics, I stand to be corrected, but from my own little research, I find that you have more FCT roads constructed, even affecting those so-called other areas, more than FCT, more than the AMAC administration itself. So the AMAC administration, there is a tendency, especially with the incumbent, to hide under the achievement of the FCT minister and use it even as a campaign slogan, leverage, without even doing any meaningful progress. So, and in the introduction to this program this evening, which was a very good monologue that you gave, you mentioned the issue of quality of people that you bring into that system. Right now, AMAC is kind of a retirement space for people, where people, if you've tried to get other places to go in and then you don't get, you come into the local government administration. A lot of people have come into to come in as staffs of the area council because as means of compensation package, you know, or loyalists, you know, who are being compensated or have a brother or somebody somewhere. So when you look at them, you find that you can find redundancy in a place where there is a lot of work. So AMAC, there is a lot of work to be done, but yet there is redundancy. There is a lot of resources coming into AMAC, yet there is no evidence of where these resources are going to. There is a lot of IGR. The IGR for AMAC, you know, and even with the recent review of allocations, where the allocations have gone up. You know, AMAC allocation has increased significantly. What has been the difference? What is the effect? Why do we have people still going on strike? You know, why do we have people complaining? Why do we have medical centers, primary healthcare centers that are not functional, not even working at all? You know, we don't have good impact in security. People ask, what can local government do in security? A whole lot. You know, when you look at education, the same thing, the schools are poorly equipped. So where is this resource going? And when you look at it all around, you see that there is a link, there is a lack, you know, in the quality administrators in that system. I really don't like the word administrator, because administrator is Nigerians relate to it, you know, in the context of what we had in the military regime, where you had people that were more or less placeholders, that they come, sit and occupy that position. You know, and I'm saying this without any kind of prejudice. At least my dad was in the military, so I grew up in the barracks. So I'm not casting aspersion on the quality of men that were there. We had some very good military administrators. But what I'm saying is that in those days, you had local government administrators that were appointed by the military people, regardless of whether they had any experience of what they were doing. When AMAC was established, it was during the time of when we had military administrators. So they would put in administrators in the area councils or local government, as it may be, around the country. So I think that there is a foundational issue that we need to begin to look at and interrogate, you know, to get things better.
I agree with you. For example, if you are called an administrator, you may see yourself as an emperor.
Yes.
But if you are called a manager, you know that you don't know it all. Yes. You may need to, you know, harmonize or harness the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of other people, and then you even though you take the glory, everybody is able to fulfill their purpose. Okay, I like that. I like that. But so, if you have the opportunity, how will you change this structure? Okay, so without breaking the system.
Yes, so the system doesn't need to be broken to be fixed in that way, because at the same time also we don't want to cause, yes, there are redundancies. Redundancy doesn't always mean that you have to downsize. Yes. You know, so I come from a sector whereby, first of all, you interrogate the reason for redundancies. Yes. What is the issue of redundancy? It's right staffing. Yes. So in the case of AMAC, it's actually right staffing. Yes. You know, and when we mean right staffing in the sense that what are the core values that AMAC is supposed to have as an organization, because we must remember that AMAC should be seen as an organization that is tasked with fulfilling certain responsibilities. If I call somebody an engineer, for example, the engineer title or tag is not just a title, but it reflects a responsibility. So, and even among engineers, you have chemical engineer, you have automotive engineer, and different types of engineers. So the title actually spells out the responsibility of the individual. So you have systems in AMAC where you have people rising through the ranks and getting into places without actually really giving value, you know, that to the system. So when you begin to write stuff, you audit the system, first of all, of course, to look at the areas where you know that needs attention. We know, you know, firsthand that AMAC right now does not have the capacity to handle refuse disposal. You know, and it is a need. It's a need. And then it is a revenue generating platform. So it becomes easy to look at it and say, okay, that as a startup, how do you get people, the right people into the right spaces to manage this aspect of AMAC and bring value for the tax that they are collecting from the populace, from the people in AMAC, because people are paying tax and a lot of revenue goes out in that regard. So how do you now, so you begin to look at them, you take each sector, you know, and begin to change and move people. There will be a lot of moving around, but the idea is that you don't have redundancy. At the end of the day, people are working. Most of the good thing with civil service administration is that every system has civil service rules, you know, and there are guidelines for how people are meant to conduct themselves. Now, over the years, I've had opportunity to work on different government agencies. When I was in private sector, I did some consulting, and during the time of Shopee,
yes.
I did consulting under this graduate internship scheme, and also did some consultings for organizations like MEMSA and some other government agencies, where we even came up with condition of service book, staff book, that says that, okay, this is the expectation that the organization wants from a staff. Yeah. This is how you have to carry out your duty. Now, those documents, aligned with civil service rules and procedure and the Constitution of the Federal Republic. They were designed with the public rules, service rules in mind, so as a guideline, so that they are able to work and have efficiency. You cannot have efficiency in a system where there are no core values. There are no guidelines for day-to-day work and how people are supposed to approach work. No vision, nothing. That's the challenge. The area that most of the people within that sector or setup have clear understanding is when it comes to leave and gratuities and things that have to do with compensation. And what allowances available. They are very, but what of the other aspects?
I like your attitude and your approach to governance. So I can straight away call you Robert. Yes, I can call you a disruptive manager.
Thank you.
But the civil service, I worked for civil service for 17 years.
Yes,
the civil service does not like disruption.
Yes.
They will fight you. So how do you do people management as you bring innovation, as you bring leadership that is transformative?
Yes.
How do you manage pushback?
Yes. So the main thing about dealing with pushback is that that the process will be driven by the staff themselves. Because first of all, they have to understand, and you have to make them understand and see that I'm an elected. If I come in, which I believe by the grace of God I will come in, I will come in not as a disruptor in the sense of displacing people out of their jobs, but to help them become more efficient and effective in service delivery. My main motto when I work in management or operations management, my main motto is that things have to work.
Things have to work.
Everything must work. If there's refuse, clear it. There's no big English about it. Just get the job done.
I get like the approach. If you get a buy-in of people and you make them to understand that, look, this is for us.
Yes.
And we are transforming our system and our local government. At least maybe 30% first of all gets understand what you are doing, and then they follow you. Okay, thank you. We will be going on a short break now. When we return from the short break, we will open our lines. If you live in AMAC, you are free to communicate with Robert Madaki, the AMAC candidate for the chairmanship position under the YPP political party. It will tell you what YPP means when we come back from the break. So, but just hold it down. This is still countdown to 2026 AMAC Area Council election. My name is still OLANREWAJU, OSHO, your host, and this program is still brought to you by New Direction for Nigeria Movement in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, an NGO. Just give us these few minutes so that we can take some commercials. We'll be back.
In FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN TV.
A new direction for leadership begins with you. The future of our communities.
Elections into the FCT area councils are coming, but are you informed? The New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV, presents a 30-day countdown to the FCT area council elections. Meet the candidates, hear their plans, examine their vision, assess their capacity to lead. From councillors to chairmen, one platform, one people, one purpose, because leadership matters.
Begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
the New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman,
asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development in FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN.
Welcome back to Countdown to FCT 2026 Area Council Election. My name is still OLANREWAJU, and I'm still in the studio with Honorable Robert MADAKI, a development specialist, someone who has worked both in the private sector and in the development space. And he understands what he really wants to do if he has the opportunity. And he's the candidate of the YPP for Abuja Municipal Area Council Chairmanship. Robert,
yes.
What is YPP?
Okay, so YPP means Young Progressives Party. So I emphasize the CIVs, that's S at the end of progressives.
Okay.
Yeah, so Young Progressives Party.
Okay.
So that's the meaning of YPP.
Okay, that was the party of Kingsley Moghalu.
Yes.
Many years, the one you ran in 2019.
Yes.
Oh, okay, what's the logo of your party?
So the logo of our party, you have the map of Nigeria, you have yellow, you have green, you have white, and then of course there is a leaf.
Okay.
So that leaf is the main thing you see us with when we come out for.
And what does that represent?
So that represents youthfulness, it represents life,
okay.
It represents continuity, it represents progressiveness. Yes.
And
it also represents, the main thing is that it represents service. Okay. So our motto is service to the people.
And FCT will benefit from all of this?
Definitely.
FCT AMAC?
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. How well, Robert, do you know AMAC?
AMAC.
How well? Well, yes, you have been here for 20 years.
Yes.
But 20 years, maybe you are just in one word.
Okay, so interestingly, the 20 years spent in AMAC, I lived in 3 different wards in AMAC.
Yeah.
But I've had to do business and move around all the 12 wards of AMAC. Now, so from Karshi, I have very close family friends in Karshi. So we go there, we visit them, we go there from time to time. So we live, Day, a lot of people don't know that Day is part of AMAC and falls under Gwagwa. So you have places like Zauda and all those places around Day axis.
Okay.
Jiwa, is another ward.
Another ward, yes.
We have Gui ward.
Gui
ward, of course, is where you have immigration.
Yes.
And towards the airport area, all the Busa, so I've been to all those areas. So I know a lot more about AMAC. And then in the last 2 years, I've been active around AMAC, but more specifically in the last 1 year when we started also meeting with, having engagements with stakeholders also has opened my eyes even further. Over the years before now, I've been very active in playing football. Forget that I've added a little bit of weight now. So in my, of course, the football community, we've moved around a lot, engaged in competition and so many things. So I'm a grassroots person. So if I come to this area and I move into this area, I'll wear my sneakers and trek around and know every corner.
Every corner.
So that's the kind of person I am. So that's, I know AMAC very well, and I feel that by the grace of God, without any sense of pride or loftiness in it, that I understand AMAC more than most candidates.
Okay. Yes. So will you say you have done the problem mapping of the 12 wards?
Yes, we've done that to a large extent, and we also find that the situation with the various wards is a fluid situation. It develops, it's a living document. When you put in certain things, you see that over the years, there are certain areas that have remained the same, with the same issues. Some areas have evolved, but new kinds of problems have come up. So basically, yes, we have a good understanding of not just the issues around, developmental issues around AMAC, but also the potential for each area, what can be done there, and how these developments, can be encouraged or nurtured. We know that there is the issue of unemployment and so many other things. And we know that the local government cannot even solve the employment problem because it cannot employ everybody. But the local government can create a conducive environment for businesses to thrive that will deal with the issue of unemployment. That is the role of government. Government cannot employ everybody, but government can create conditions, for development and businesses to grow. So yes, we have a very good understanding of the issues around AMAC. Most of the people in YPP, for example, are young people. So it's a youth-driven party. It's a young party. And we also, within our system of, like for example, now I refer to myself as a system. I don't refer to myself as one person because we work with other people, who have the same ambition and idea of how they see their areas, and they want to come in and also effect change in their communities. So when we do engagements, for example, in rural communities, we have more buy-in from the people. We don't do money inducements. Or we don't come into a community and actually induce people to come out and come and listen to us or have conversations. So which is a big one for us, that in this system and in this time and age, you have communities inviting you and hosting you, which is a different, which is a far cry.
That's beautiful.
So when people come and ask for money, we know that yes, running elections, there are logistics issues around it, and there is no lie about that, you have to move from one place to another, and also get your people to do the same while they are campaigning and meeting with stakeholders. But you cannot, there is nothing for sale. We are not buying people loyalty. We are speaking to issues, and the issues are germane to the people, and the people are involved in articulating these problems. So that is why we are certain that we know what is happening in those areas. So representation, there are some parties, I will not call names, there are parties that have councillors running in areas that they are not domiciled. So you can't know the problem of the area.
You can't know the problem of the area. Thank you, Robert. If you want to talk to Robert Madaki, and I'm sure he's resonating with you, if you have been listening to what he's been saying, so you can call us on this line, 0802 993 8365. 0802 993 8365. If you call, we'll pick right here. Robert Madaki is here. He will talk to you as the candidate of the YPP political party for the forthcoming AMAC area council election. Okay, so Robert, I'm going to engage you in my intro. How will you bring governance? How will you promote the bringing of governance closer to the people of Abuja Municipal Area Council? Because that's one of the principal duties of a local government.
Yes.
And the reason why they have not been interested, the reason for our party, is that governors have not been closer to them. I have lived in FCT. This is my 28th year. I have never had any cause to meet a local government chairman or to be met by a local government chairman. And by God's grace, I'm not an ordinary person. So if that can happen to me, you can imagine what happens to an ordinary person on the street. No, there's no interaction whatsoever. The same with councillor. I live in Kabusa Ward. I've never seen a councillor in 28 years.
So earlier on, I also referenced your introduction, and one of the things I said is that it's not a problem peculiar to AMAC. It's not a problem peculiar to the FCT. It's a problem that is, you see when you move around Nigeria, you see it in different places. There are places where local government administration is quite visible to a large extent. But you see, with AMAC, the most visible aspect of local government administration is tax collection. Or when you meet touts on the road and they're harassing you, and then you see on their shirt AMAC. So, but beyond that, for a lot of people, they don't know AMAC to be part of government in the sense of being responsible for things around them. So now, the first thing that we saw, or we have seen, is that there are spaces within AMAC that are not even governed at all. So, and when we say spaces that are not governed, means that there is no presence of government in those areas at all. So, there's nothing that looks like the input of government.
No
schools. So there is nothing that... I give you an example. In Angwan Hausawa, in Nyanya, there are women that have resorted to local midwives to give birth at home because there is no primary health care facility.
Angwan Hausawa is far. Yes. I know something like it, yes. Right in the city center, yes. Right, one of the villages in the city center.
Yes. So I'm just using that as an example of what we mean when we say that there is absence of governance in those spaces. The first thing that will bring SOCO to any community that they will feel that there is government in that area has to touch 3 areas: healthcare, education, and what they call sanitation. Because sanitation is a major challenge in AMAC. You know, generally, it's not a problem that is restricted to the city center or the main, let's say, zone B, for example, where you have most of the city center, most developed areas of the city. But when you even go further, even to, let's say, zone A, which zone A consists of Nyanya, Karu, Orozo, and Karshi, they have sanitation issue. They have issues with refuse disposal. So these problems...
If you are going on Karu,
yes, you just see a very massive heap that covers the road, you know, to a large extent. So those problems are there. So
and in Garki,
is there, you know, which is the base of the incumbent. You know, Garki is the base of the incumbent.
Absolutely.
You know, so these are things that we look to and say, look, it's not... local government administration is not nuclear physics. What do they need? Bring government closer. Now, you can't do development. We've lost track on development in AMAC. And before I spoke to you this evening, you know, my estimation of the timeline of or how far back we are in AMAC, I was reading 20 years. But now I'm considering it to say 30 years.
30 years.
You know, because... You know, I'm looking at how bad and how far we haven't gone, and that how one-sided development is in AMAC. You know, and what needs to be done. I lived in Gwarimpa,
particularly because this is a purpose-built federal capital.
It's purpose-built. In fact, I said this in many.
It should be like New York. It should be like San Francisco.
I said this in many places that it is possible that AMAC is one of the reasons why they haven't given us full. Local government autonomy. Because you see, AMAC is at the center. AMAC is supposed to be the poster child of local government administration in Nigeria. Not just Nigeria, but Africa. AMAC is the landlord of everybody, including the president. You know, but and with all the revenue and everything that comes in, you cannot guarantee good and efficient governance in that area. No, it's bad. It's bad. So that is what we are saying is that there are statutory responsibilities that the AMAC has been set up for. If you fulfill those statutory responsibilities, you know you have solved the problem of local government administration and visibility of local government, because the responsibilities are not even being met in the first place.
Okay, before I ask my next question in line with my intro,
yes, sir.
Let me ask you about tenement rate.
Yes.
You know the issue of tenement rate.
Yes, sir.
It was a big issue.
Yes.
We will pay, we will not pay, you know, back and forth between AMAC and the people. Okay, I live in a, from where you say you live, you don't live very far from me.
Very true.
And where I live, the road from the front of my house,
yes, sir,
all the way to the next biggest road, which was constructed by the FCDA.
Yes, sir.
We did all the road.
Yes.
So, okay, so the transformers, we bought them. The water, we did them.
Yes.
Now, so when AMAC is coming with their tenement rate, so you ask them a question. The road you traveled on, you didn't do it. If you are thirsty and you needed to drink water, the water you will drink, as the end of, you didn't provide it.
Yes.
Okay, so if you may need to photocopy something in that environment, you didn't provide that. So what are you collecting? So what's your position on tenement rate? So and what will you do if you are the next job?
So because I've been also on the same side of the equation where what you have highlighted now is something that I also have had to deal with personally. and also when I was in operations management, so I was managing a project. So the assets and facilities that we were using then, we had to manage tenement rate issues. And I know the kind of bills that were brought for services that were not rendered. So the first area of issue that we have is that the estates within AMAC, especially those estates that were cooperative driven, developed, there has to be a synergy between AMAC and the cooperatives. And that what now happens, the cooperatives, they've built roads. The communities have built roads, they've done the things they've needed to do without the input of the area council. So, but there are services that the area council, in the area, for example, of waste management, they can collaborate. So, in the issue of tenement rates, if a property has already been built, it's been built. If a road has been built, it has been constructed. So you cannot go and deconstruct the road for the local government to come and do and claim tenement rates. But there has to be some form of negotiation. There has to be negotiations. Every position can be negotiated. Because the essence of government, is for the people. It's not against the people. So the whole idea is that you have a group of people in an area that were resourceful enough to develop the area to that level. So these are resource persons, and they are to be celebrated. So, but other than coming with arbitrary rates and all that, if the local government comes into that space and begin to provide some services, like for example, now some of those areas don't have adequate number of transformers, that the local government comes and helps with putting that in place. The local government also can go into rehabilitation of roads that were already completed, but they were not
up to.
Yes, some estates or some places don't have, the roads are not as good as others.
Yes.
So there are services. What we are saying is that come and provide services. When you provide services,
show yourself as a partner.
So we now have the moral justification, to require those things.
I like the phrase moral justification. For now, that moral justification is not there. What we see is a local government trying to bully people, to give to Caesar what Caesar did not own. Okay, so thank you very much. In June 2025, AMAC collected almost 1.5 billion from the consolidation. From the FAC allocation. Okay, so how will you, in addition to what you will generate, how will you use it to make services more efficient, water, sanitation, and healthcare?
Okay.
And then markets,
Okay, so now within AMAC, there are revenue centers, that there are locations that drive revenue, like you mentioned, the markets, parks and other places. One of the biggest things that we've recognized with these areas is that they are not well managed, and there are loopholes, there are holes in the system that allow for funds not to be generated on the level that we can generate them. And how do we know that? Is that all you have to do, if you are going to audit a process or a system, you first audit the process of whether they are following due process. Once due process is not followed, there is a leak in the system. That is what prompts audit. So when you audit that system, you see that there are issues around revenue generation. Not that the revenue is not being generated, but what happens to when it is collected? How do you know how much is collected? There should be data and information that tells us that, on a daily basis, day motor park, we get this amount. Or we get this amount. Like the administration should know that. I can tell you that they have no idea how much really being generated in all these places. That's the first area. So, and when you do not have control on how much you get and are only dependent on FAC allocation for development, you are not going to do much. Because you already have the burden of salaries and the remunerations for working staff. So you find yourself, like most local governments in Nigeria is paying salaries and moving on. And then you are tagged as a good local government administration as long as you're able to pay salaries. But paying salaries is foundational because people work. But you also have to ensure that the work is being done there is service, there is value that is derived from that system. That value, there are two levels of value. There is revenue, and then there is satisfaction. And who will derive satisfaction is the end user, the people that voted you into power. So they have to have something that they are getting back, that this is where our taxes are going to. So until you clean that system and ensure that, yes, the resources that are coming in, FAC allocation has increased, because across board, you know, and we may not have the right data now, but we know that FAC allocation has increased. For state, it has increased. For local government has increased. And we know, as a matter of fact, that the FCT minister, at least the current one, is not holding back on allocations. You know, at least to the best of my knowledge, you know, there is no, so which means that the resources are coming in, you know, but we are not seeing where it's going and how it's being used. So transparency is the first place to start with.
Yes. In conclusion,
yes, sir.
Well, if you become the next AMAC chairman,
yes, sir,
what will you do differently? We are rounding up.
What we will do differently, the next AMAC chairman, is that the presence of AMAC will be felt more. There will be more engagement with the people of AMAC. Because the idea is to awaken the people to the reality of that there is a government that they need to hold accountable. So, and we'll be accountable to the people. You know, so that is what we'll do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Madaki. Distinguished viewers at home, ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to the YPP candidate for AMAC chairmanship election that's coming up on the 21st of February. And he said he just told you what he's going to do differently. And he spoke about the word accountability. I like that. And so you have met him. You have heard this idea, so look out for him, because the campaign is still going out. Look out for him there, and you can also interact with him on the street when he comes to your area. And you can also visit his platform on social media so that you can engage with him. And because we want the best person to emerge come February 21st, 2026. Thank you so much for engaging with us today in this edition. It's 33 days to the election, and we should be getting ready. Do you have your voter's card ready? If you don't have it ready, do you need to transfer it from where you've been voting before to where you live? This is where you live and you make your money. It's good that you vote here. So if you have to transfer it, you know, please go to AMAC in area 10. And you can get that done. I want you to also know that this program is brought to you by New Direction for Nigeria movement. We're a movement of Nigerians who feel that politics needs to be done in the right way. You know, if you garbage in, you will garbage out. We don't want us to be doing garbage in, garbage out, strategy in politics in Nigeria anymore. We want to put good people in offices so that they can transform our system for us. Many of these good people, when they want to go for, elected positions, it's very overwhelming. They need a lot of money to do. So New Direction for Nigeria want to create a mass of Nigerians who want to see change happen, and who can say, you know what, don't bother about anything. You are coming to my area, we will give you an hall, we will provide for you water. Just come and talk to us what you need to do. So if you want to be part of such an innovative movement, just check us online. All our social media, just check New Direction for Nigeria movement. We are on YouTube, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on all the platforms. We are on our website also. Our website is www.nedmo.org. Just sign up and become a member. And keep watching KAFTAN TV that has brought this program to you. A very dynamic television station that cares so much about Nigeria and want to see great things happen in this country by contributing their role as the member of the 4th estate of the realm. God bless you, KAFTAN. Keep shining. Keep growing. Ladies and gentlemen, we will bring you another edition by the grace of God tomorrow. You will see another candidate. Good night and have a lovely evening. God bless you.
The future of our communities begins with informed choices.
As the 2026 FCT Area Council elections draw closer,
the New Direction movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV and Inspire Nigeria Initiative, presents
30 days countdown to the FCT Area Council elections. Join us every day at 6 p.m. on KAFTAN TV as we engage candidates for councillor and area council chairman.
Asking the questions that matter on vision, mission, leadership, programs, accountability, development, and so on.
Join us as we drill the candidates and address grassroots development in FCT. Call in live to ask questions on 08029 38365.
Follow us live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
30 days countdown only on KAFTAN